I play a lot of Bob Marley when Mike is here because I know it drives him crazy because he's so anti-cannabis. He hates reggae music. It's 7 minutes after 3 o'clock. It is 70 degrees here in Santa Fe. 24th day of February. 70. Beautiful. Gorgeous day, mostly blue skies, few high clouds out there. The winds are pretty much calm right now as well. Humidity is 16%, air quality in the mid-30s, 70. Get out and ride your bicycle, play some tennis, shoot some hoops, take the doggy for a walk, get outside, enjoy beautiful, beautiful, beautiful northern New Mexico. Might be even a little bit warmer tomorrow. All right, sometime this hour, not yet, sometime this hour, we'll give away a $25 gift card to Sky Coffee. I will have Mr. Vigil help me with that. I know you hate Marley, and I know you hate reggae music.
No, you forget that I lived in the Caribbean.
You actually love reggae music.
So I would go to Jamaica quite a bit, and I learned to love Bob Marley and a lot of the reggae.
You smoked a lot of weed in Jamaica?
No, not at all. We seized it.
Did you ever, working undercover, did you ever smoke weed?
No. Because I seldom ever worked.
Was it ever passed to you and you had to fake it?
Well, yeah, you could, snip off the end and fake it, but
like Bill Clinton.
I worked primarily heroin, cocaine,
right?
Hard drug cases.
But you go to Jamaica for a little vacay, a little R&R?
No, I used to go there to meet with the
bus people,
to all the with members of the security forces and the the heads of government there.
So like Colombia, Army and police and whoever they had, would you guys maybe come from U.S. from Florida? Everybody meet centralized in Jamaica?
Sometimes. But normally, I was on the go constantly. But my hotspot when I was in charge of the Caribbean for DEA was primarily Haiti, because they didn't have an infrastructure. Once they got into Haiti, it was easy to cross into the Dominican Republic.
So what Colombian heroin or cocaine?
Cocaine primarily, yes.
Cigarette boats?
Yes.
Submarines, cigarette boats?
Well, semi-submersibles, but primarily aircraft and go-fast boats.
So aircraft dropping bundles in the ocean, go-fast boats would go out and grab them?
They would grab them.
Okay.
But, it was kind of interesting because a lot of suspect aircraft would come in from Colombia and land in Haiti. And the villagers in nearby villages would charge the aircraft, beat up the traffic or pilots, and grab as many kilogram packages of cocaine and run back to the village.
Some probably getting shot in the back.
No, the trafficker pilots were scared because we're talking about an entire village surrounding them. Sometimes they just...
Did they do that more than once?
Oh, yeah, quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Colombians didn't learn, huh?
No. They and, I remember going to Haiti, and you would see these mansions on the hillside. Well, they didn't belong to...
Papa Doc.
They didn't belong to the Haitians. They belonged to Colombian traffickers that were there.
So was Papa Doc? Was Papa Doc there when you were in the Caribbean?
No, he was already gone, and so was Baby Duck.
Okay, Duvalier.
Yeah,
bastards, corrupt to the bone.
Those guys were terrible, but and it was a very interesting time. and they would kill people there, and the method of killing people would be to get them, tie them up, and then put tires around their neck, and then set the tires on fire.
It wouldn't be my choice.
Not mine either.
Yeah. So, Mike Vigil is our guest. The pride of Española, New Mexico. So every time you come on, Mike, I always say when I promote you, you're coming, Mike Vigil, I'll be here today and record promos and all that. Over 30 years of head of undercover operations for the DA. So we've talked, but it's been a long, long time. Probably since your first book Deal came out. You went from Espanol. We talked about that. You went into Mexico State. You decided you wanted to be in some kind of law enforcement. You weren't really sure. You selected the DEA. You got in there. You got all your training done. Were you just an agent for how long?
Well, I was an agent, regular agent for about, I'd say about 10 years, 12, 15 years. And then I became a supervisor in Medellin, Colombia during the time of Pablo Escobar.
Right.
Then I had to close the office down because of death threats, and I took over the office in Barranquilla. From there, I went to Miami as a supervisor, went to headquarters as a supervisor, and then I got promoted.
Headquarters in DA? In D.C.?
D.C., and then from there, I got promoted as deputy director in Mexico City.
In the embassy?
Working out of the embassy. And then from there, I went to Dallas. Then I went and took over the Office of the Caribbean. Then I came back and I took over the division in San Diego, and then Chief of International Operations. So I was in charge of all the offices worldwide, every office outside the continental United States.
One of your novels, and I can't remember which one, talks about the precursors of drugs coming over from China, trying to set those, which is all based on your experience and the truth that we know now. But you also talk about fighting and so, we're closing this source down, but now they're going to get shiploads of chemicals from Germany.
Well,
and that was based on the truth as well, right?
Well, it is, and
ships coming out of Rotterdam.
Yeah, and the thing is that Donald Trump, as you well know, designated the
cartels,
6 Mexican cartels as terrorist organizations.
That'll show them.
But that's symbolic. It's not going to do anything, and he doesn't talk about reducing the demand, because if we don't reduce the demand, if it's not Mexico, if it's not Colombia, it's going to be another country, because it's the basic law of economics.
The demand is us.
Demand.
The demand is in this country.
That's correct. And Trump has indicated that he wants to fight the cartels. But when you take a look at the terrorist designation, a lot of people are under the belief that will allow the U.S. government to go in and do drone strikes or send the military in. It only does 3 things. One, it tries to prevent these people from coming into the States. It allows the U.S. government to seize bank accounts here in the United States.
Which should be a good thing, shouldn't it?
It's a good thing, but we've already
follow the money.
We've already been doing that for decades. This is nothing new. And apart from
so
that,
when we get it, we designate El Chapo, we know El Chapo, okay, or Chapo Jr. They have bank accounts. We find their bank accounts. We've been doing this for a long time. We freeze those.
We freeze those and we seize the money.
Do we ever not freeze them and just surveil them?
No, if
I guess they're not coming in
if we locate
to make
them,
a deposit.
Yeah, if we locate them, we're going to seize them.
Okay.
But the third component, which Trump really doesn't understand, is that if U.S. citizens can be sanctioned if they provide material support to these designated groups.
But that's true.
So now, there's a lot of U.S. companies that work in Mexico. If they, by some chance, are dealing with a company that's affiliated with one of these cartels,
okay,
they can be sanctioned. A lot of the gun manufacturers, and we know that 80% of the weapons that go into Mexico come from the United States, and many of those go into the hands of the traffickers, which means that these gun shops can also be sanctioned for, providing material support to the cartels.
So Richard's gun shop in Las Cruces, that weapons that are, I buy, and they're found in Mexico, I can be sanctioned?
You can be sanctioned, especially if you know that these guns were going into Mexico.
Right.
So it's going to have a ripple effect. And then, Donald Trump has put a lot of thousands of military personnel on the border,
right,
but it's not going to have an impact because most of the drugs come in through the ports of entry, the legitimate ports of entry. And who brings it across? American citizens. Who traffics the drugs? American citizens.
So what you're saying, what I'm saying, Mike, is these three things in and of themselves sound like a good plan. Stop cartel members from being able to cross the United States. We've been doing that. To freeze their bank accounts, and then American companies that are partnering with, colluding with cartels, we sanction them. All good things. Trump has now formalized it, but you're saying it's lipstick on a pig.
It's lipstick on a pig because we've already been doing it. There's a law, and it's called the Foreign Narcotics Kingpin Designation Act that was passed in 1999 that basically allows for the same thing. We've been doing that since I entered DEA, actually, so it's nothing new. And then now...
but it's good PR?
It's not even good PR because that is antagonizing the Mexican government. And Trump needs to be a little bit more diplomatic.
So why don't we take a break, and when we come back, tell us how the new president of Mexico is responding. And that is President...
Claudia Sheinbaum.
Be right back with Mike Vigil. Now we got his whole bio. We got everything straight now. We'll come back. We'll talk about what he would do and what we're doing at the border with, surveillance. You too. The airplane, not the band. We'll be right back.
1950, señores, voy a contarles la historia.
Mike Vigil is my guest. Mike from Espanola, New Mexico, went to New Mexico State. You probably want to talk about New Mexico State today. I'm just guessing, but that's probably true, right? Why did it stop, Michael?
That is very true.
Why the heck did it stop? Your corrido is broken.
Well,
that's not cool.
Let's hope not.
So I was just going to say that, I've got to be your best friend. Does any other radio show or inner online show that you do ever play your corrido for you?
Yeah, they do.
Oh.
They do.
All right. I thought I was
by the way,
the
composer and the singer, Alberto Angel, they call him El Cuervo, passed away several months ago from cancer.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was sad.
He called you up and he said, I want to do this corrido. And if you don't know what corridos are done for drug lords, not for DEA agents. So,
but
where did he live?
He lived in Mexico City, and he read about me, so he somehow got my number and called and said, I want to do a corrido. But this guy was the only man to receive a 4-minute standing ovation in Bellas Artes in Madrid, Spain. The only one.
What is it? What is that? Is it
Bellas
bull
Artes,
ring or what?
No, Bellas Artes is a theater.
Oh, okay.
They have a Bellas Artes in Mexico City.
It's like Royal Albert Hall. I mean, it's like the place.
Exactly.
Okay. So he passed away of cancer.
Passed away of cancer.
Oh, that's too bad.
And he was fairly young. He wasn't that old.
Well, like I said, dudes, get your prostate checked.
Yeah.
Go to the doctor.
Very true.
But yes, go to the doctor. A lot of this stuff can be detected. Anyway, so Donald Trump, cartels now, terrorist organizations, big deal. Do you think, is it all just bluster? Do you think he would ever risk attacking Mexico, lobbing in some missiles? I mean, he said that during his first administration.
Yeah, but he has no clue because he was talking about launching Patriot missiles.
Or cruise missiles.
Patriot missiles against the labs. The labs consist of a metal tub, and they mix the precursor chemicals with the stick.
Patriots are really accurate, apparently.
And Patriot missiles are surface to air. They're not air to surface.
They knock down other missiles.
So you would be destroying a $30 metal tub with a $4 million missile.
Okay.
So
sounds fair.
He is making a lot of threats and, alienating a lot of countries that have been struggling with, drugs and, combating drugs.
So what does President Sheinbaum think of him? I mean, she has to, like Macron, like everybody else. They can't just come out and go completely crazy on him. They gotta be diplomats.
Well, it's kind of interesting because they mentioned me in her morning press conferences, like they did
Mike Vigil?
with Lopez Obrador. Yeah.
Well, he hated you.
So no, he loved me towards the end because I defended him. But the other day there was a reporter, and the reporter said, "Well, Mike Vigil said that Donald Trump doesn't know anything, and that you are extremely intelligent." She gets this big smile on her face, but Claudia Sheinbaum was basically the governor, the equivalent of a governor in charge of Mexico City. Did a great job during the COVID. She is highly intelligent.
She's a scientist.
She is a climate scientist, and she was part of a group that won a Nobel Peace Prize. So she is compassionate. She has empathy. She's working for Mexico, and she's everything that Donald Trump isn't. But she is very strong. She has strong intestinal fortitude, and she's not like Justin Trudeau when Trump was threatening to impose 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada. Trudeau went to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring. Claudia Sheinbaum doesn't do that. She very strong, and she's not a cream puff by any standard.
So on the security risk, does she? I mean, I think she. I think I read that President Sheinbaum said, not a chance in hell. We're going to cooperate. Not a chance in hell. You're gonna send in the United States military into Mexico.
Well, she said that she wanted to cooperate.
Oh, she does. Okay.
She does want to cooperate, but the thing is that Mexico is a sovereign country, and she is not going to stand for any incursion by military or drone strikes or things of that nature.
Is she doing anything better than Lopez Obrador was in terms of turning off the tap of precursors from China coming into the ports of Mexico and ending up in 30-gallon tubs and making fentanyl and killing people?
She's really doing a really great job. They recently had the biggest seizure of fentanyl, over a ton in Mexico, which was a record seizure. She has made about 10,000 arrests in about a month time frame, and she is deploying, not only National Guard units but military, to include Navy and Army. So she's doing a really, really good job.
I mean, what they really have to do, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong here, what they really have to do is inspect every ship that comes into port.
Yeah, but they lack the technology. And then the other problem is that when the Chinese ship the precursor chemicals into the ports of Lázaro Cárdenas, Michoacán,
Monterrey,
Manzanillo in Colima, they mislabel them. So a lot of
in the manifest it says it's
customs
rice.
folks need to be trained, and then they need a lot of technology at those
All right,
ports.
so now I got to eat crow because I said that President Sheinbaum was going to be just another Lopez Obrador. Guy came over to Joe's one day and he got in my face and he said, "You're wrong. You're really, you don't know what you're talking about, and she's going to be a lot stronger than AMLO."
Well, the thing is that she got off to a rough
So I
start.
apologize.
She got off to a rough start, but she's doing really well, and she's a strong leader. She is probably the best female leader that currently exists worldwide. I mean, she is really, really taking a lot of issues on head on.
Okay. All right, take a break. Back with Mike Vigil. And at some point in this next half hour, we will give away a $25 gift card to Sky Coffee. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, you'll help me out?
I thought you were going to give it to me. No, I'm just kidding.
You don't drink coffee.
No, I don't.
Be right back. Talk 1260 1037 KTRC. See what I got to put up with Mike Vigil, freaking guest on the show. Mike, former head of undercover operations for the DEA internationally, wrote a book called Deal, which was nonfiction. That's how I met him. I got it in the mail, and I said, "This dude's from Espanola." And then we became friends, and now he's writing novels. What, 8 novels, something like that? 8 or 9?
I'm about to finish my ninth one.
Ninth novel. Basically, just about some superhero named Miguel Vigil. Have no idea who that could be.
Via.
Oh, Miguel Villa.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have
Villa.
no idea who that could be. And he beds the president of Mexico, I believe, in one of them, isn't he? Doesn't he? Am I wrong?
He does.
He does. He does. Yes.
And they're still married.
Anyway, so that's what he's doing now. On the border of our state, do we have any federal troops on our border?
I'm sure we do. I believe they're.
How are they getting away around Pase Comitatus?
Well, they
Declared emergency.
They don't.
Or they don't?
They don't. But the thing is that they're there. Putting up fences and what have you, and
okay.
trying to prevent migrants from coming in. And recently, Trump sent 3 types of aircraft along the border and then along the Gulf of California. One of them is the U-2 that was used during the Cold War.
Francis Gary Powers.
Yeah,
shot
Gary
down over
Powers
Russia.
was shut down over Russia.
So we brought him back?
The plane.
Oh.
And the plane can fly at an altitude of 70,000 feet.
Yeah.
And then they have the naval P-8A Poseidons.
Sub-hunters.
That are sub-hunters. And then the third one is the RC-135 Rivets. And those are aircraft that can pick up signals intelligence. They don't have to overfly Mexico. They can fly on the border.
Cell phone traffic.
Cell phone, radio communications. But what Trump did is he took these limited resources away from much more dangerous regions in the world. One of them was operating in the Ukraine, so now they can't intercept Russian signal intelligence, but they telegraphed that these aircraft were going to be flying on the border. So what do you think the cartels are going to do? They're going to clam up for a while.
So the sub-hunters are really cool. They have a full complement of electronics inside, a full crew inside that sit there and monitor. They have these tubes on the fuselage. I saw them in New Orleans at a joint base, and they have these tubes on the side, and they fly over the ocean and they shoot out these sonobuoys.
Yeah, these sensors.
Yeah.
And what they do primarily is they track Russian and Chinese submarines. But all of this, the troops on the border, the aircraft, the designation, it's all. For
How
show.
much of this is effective? Any of it effective? Give them credit for anything?
Not really. It's something that's already being done, and some of those aircraft would fly, but they would fly usually maybe once every 2 months or every 3 months.
Right.
And now they've been flying like sometimes 18 flights in a month. But like I said, they telegraphed this through the media that they were going to be doing this. So the cartels are probably, just sending messengers, to relay messages.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Michael. You know these people. You fought against these people. You interacted with these people. The cartels are as smart as our NSA. They're as smart as our military intelligence. They're as smart as any terrorist organization on the planet.
Well, the thing is that they have
certainly have resources.
They have worldwide logistics. They have resources. They make billions of dollars every year. And let's say, for example, the United States sent in troops to Mexico.
All right, Sinaloa. Let's go into the mountains.
Go into the mountains. They're not going to get, number one, the support of the people, because they're going to look at the United States as an invading army. And then the cartels,
they'll be gone.
Will be able to retaliate against U.S. citizens that live in Mexico, that go to visit in Mexico. They can also
so your timeshare in Puerto Vallarta.
Exactly. They can also initiate attacks here on U.S. soil because they have the capability.
That's a serious escalation.
It is a very serious escalation, and they'll do it. because you'll recall when the National Guard of Mexico captured Ovidio Guzman in Culiacan the first time, and the Sinaloa cartel responded faster than any military force I've ever seen, and they already had a plan. They sealed off all of Culiacan. They burned buses, vehicles, stopped all traffic. Then they sent some of their hitmen, with 50 caliber machine guns to start shooting up the apartment complexes where the soldiers' families were at.
Yeah.
So then they had no choice but to release them. And they did that the second time Ovidio Guzman was captured. But I had mentioned that they needed aerial support. This time they did get it, and they were able to put Ovidio on a helicopter and get him out of there.
Was it the first time the cartel members, in an effort to get him back, and severely outnumbered the police and the military, they started shooting at civilian aircraft taking off from the airport?
Absolutely. They started to shoot at civilian aircraft, military aircraft coming in.
That was the first time?
No, this was the second time when they did get him out of there on a military helicopter.
That's brazen.
But, right now, there's an ongoing war between the Chapitos, Chapo Guzman's sons, and then Mayo Zambada's son, El Flaquito Mayo.
But Mayo Zambada's in prison in this country.
That's
Trapped,
correct.
caught in Santa Teresa, right?
Yeah, he was brought into Santa Teresa, New Mexico, not El Paso, as they say. But they have,
So he's still locked up.
He's still locked up. He recently sent.
Now, Zambada's an old dude, isn't he?
He's 77 years old. This guy is the equivalent of organized crime, Carlo Gambino.
Okay.
He was involved in the drug trade for 60 years, since he was 16 years
Untouchable,
old.
man.
And he was not touched, but he just recently wrote a letter to the Mexican government saying, you have to get me out of here and repatriate me to Mexico. If not,
Or what?
If not, I'm going to name names. And
So
what
he
have you.
has.
So
Okay.
he's threatening the Mexican government.
Can he make good on that?
No, because I just don't think that the U.S. Government is going to return him, because we all saw what happened when they returned Salvador Cienfuegos, the former Secretary of Defense under the Peña Nieto administration.
No, he was arrested. What, in Los Angeles?
Salvador Cienfuegos was, yes,
Yeah.
he was, and then Mayo Zambada was kidnapped by Chapo Guzman's son, put on a plane, and then they brought him into Santa
That would be
Teresa.
like them arresting. Who's our Secretary of Defense now? What's this clown's name? Party boy?
Oh, the Hegseth, Pete Hegseth. But, yeah, he
Could
is,
we get him arrested by the Mexicans?
that would be a good thing for this government.
That'd be a great thing for this government.
Yeah. And
Wouldn't be laying off all the people.
and along with
Can you hang?
yeah.
Back with Mike Deal. Day two. Oh, wait. Pick a number between 1 and 10. 2, 3. Final answer? Third caller? 505-424-1260. Caller number 3. Going to be a race. 505-424-1260. Caller number 3. It's to me, $25 gift card. It's the Sky Coffee, and I'll mail it to the winner. Caller number 3. All right, it's about 11 minutes until 4 o'clock on a Monday afternoon. That was a very quick giveaway that we did there. Mike Mays from Santa Fe won the $25 gift card to Sky. Appreciate it, Mike. I will get that in the mail this afternoon. Mike Vigil is here. We're talking about, his expertise, which is smuggling, cartels, the war that we've been waging for forever against smugglers, and these are really, really bad people. These are violent. Just without any compunction of killing people. No value in life. Enlisting, recruiting sicarios probably before they're teenagers, training them. It's every bit as bad as Boko Haram in Africa, and making kids into soldiers and giving them an AK-47 and go that way and go kill people. They're horrific people. I mean, we should not in any way romanticize, and yet we have half the shows on cable are narco shows.
Well, the thing is that, for some reason, those are very, very popular shows.
Extremely.
And a lot of people
It's the Wild West stuff.
Yeah, love the violence. And as a matter of fact, my new book that I'm just about to finish is called Ursula, Child Soldier. And it deals with a young female that was kidnapped in Colombia by the National Liberation Army, which actually exists, and taken into Venezuela, where they work with the cartel de los soles, or cartel of the suns, which are high-ranking Venezuelan government officials. And then they hook up with the Romanian mafia, and they start smuggling cocaine into Romania.
You were just in Romania.
Yeah, I was in Romania, and into the port of Constanza. So it's really, it's going to be a really great novel. I'll bring you some copies when I get it published.
We'll give them away.
Yeah.
All right. You mentioned Venezuela.
Yes.
Maduro just won in a landslide, totally legit election. But then, with this administration, and they're not going to hold people accountable, for all this kind of stuff. I mean, Trump admires these people like Maduro.
Well, he does. He wants to be a
He wants to be able to
dictator.
cheat like that.
Well, the thing is that, he said that he was going to, he declared that he was going to be a dictator from day one, and he's been exactly that. But Maduro won illegitimately. The Gonzalez, the other candidate, won, but then Maduro kept all the votes and then tabulated them.
Magic.
And came out the winner magically. But Maduro is actually wanted here on drug trafficking charges in the United States. Diosdado Cabello, another high-ranking government official, is also wanted here on drug trafficking charges. And then the Secretary of Defense, Vladimir Padrino Lopez, is also wanted here. But the big issue is, as with all dictators, as long as you control the military, you're probably going to stay in power.
Which is exactly what is happening with our Pentagon. But right after Trump got elected and sworn in, and Maduro had his legit election, 6 Americans were released.
That's correct.
What were they in prison for? These weren't the guys that tried to kill him, were they?
I believe they were the ones that tried to invade. Venezuela.
Yeah.
You'll recall, and they went there and
Private army of 6.
Private army of 6, and Maduro has about 1,000 bodyguards. He never goes anywhere without them. So, I hope that these 6 individuals were very well armed and very good shots.
Do you, as I suspect, and you can say no comment if you want, but I mean, it's that exact scenario that I think is what behind the firing of the president or the general and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Was it 4 generals and 1 admiral were fired over the weekend, and now putting in generals and an admiral who are, quote unquote, totally loyal to the president?
Well, the thing is that Donald Trump learned one big factor
In his first term.
In his first term, and that was that
Move quickly.
He wanted to get loyalists. He wants to get loyalists because, he had generals, he had other people around him that would say, no, you can't do that. It's illegal, it's unconstitutional. So now he's getting rid of all those and he's putting loyalists. But what does that mean also? Most of these people are totally incompetent, very incompetent. But he's consolidating power, and people should be really concerned because if he takes over the military, he's got Hegseth there, who's a complete moron, and then he's firing all these competent generals.
Mind that with you got the Attorney General,
and then he's got Pam
DOJ.
Bondi, he's got that racist Tom Homan as the border czar. He's got
Cash
Tulsi.
Patel.
Cash Patel should be nowhere near Washington, D.C. But he's turning this country into a government that he can control, and I think he's consolidating power to try to stay in power, and that should be very frightening to
All right.
Americans.
So when you look at this, I know you get pretty concerned and pretty upset, and you pay attention to the news and all this kind of stuff, because when you get up to here, that's when I hear from you. Raving maniac, do you think that what James Carville is saying, that this government will implode within 30 days? Do you think what Bernie Sanders is doing out on this tour against oligarchs now, do you think any of this is going to bring down the numbers? Do you think anything is going to impede Trump's march to be like Putin or Maduro or Bolsonaro, who Bolsonaro tried to poison his opponent and kill a member of the Supreme Court in Brazil?
Well, we're starting to see throughout the world a lot of these oligarchs, a lot of these authoritarian leaders, trying to consolidate power and become dictators.
In Europe as well.
Very much like Putin. So I don't think that the Trump administration is going to implode in 30 days. But, what they're trying to do is consolidate, the power of the military and the power of the FBI. Right now, there's no separation of powers. The White House controls, the
Supreme Court,
the Supreme Court,
Congress is
the
cow.
Senate,
Yeah.
and all by an individual who is extraordinarily ignorant. And it's all about power. It's all about grifting, and the people that are going to pay are going to be the people that put him into office. And
Does Elon Musk concern you?
He does.
I'll say.
And when I
That ketamine, though, it must be a good buzz.
when I
Wearing his shades and the chainsaw,
Well, when I retired from DEA, I went into the private sector, and one of the things that I noticed is that you had a lot of these CEOs like Elon Musk that were dumber than rocks, and they considered them genius, but they were at the right place at the right time and made a lot of money. But we are in probably the worst shape we have ever been in the history of this country. Donald Trump doesn't even know what a constitution is, and the people that put him into power, and it's like they say, when a clown goes into a palace, he doesn't become a king. The palace becomes a circus, and that's basically what's happening.
It is very concerning. You have people who are, former heads of some of these departments, FBI, saying, the tripwire has been tripped. We're teetering. We are teetering over the cliff.
And the thing is that, people need to stand up. I give multiple interviews daily, and I speak out internationally against the Trump administration, and I think the Democrats really have to step forward and attack this situation.
You're going to be speaking for Southwest Seminars on Monday,
On
March
10th,
March
at
10th?
about 6 o'clock.
Hotel Santa Fe.
Hotel Santa Fe.
Speaking about what?
About my favorite subject, drugs and drug traffickers.
Get your tickets now. They're at 6 o'clock. You get there early enough, you get a cookie. Mike Vigil, March the 10th, Monday at Hotel Santa Fe. Good to see you, man. You're looking well.
Seeing you.
You look all right.
Seeing you. Thank you for having me.
Anytime.
And by the way, shout out to New Mexico
Oh,
State
I forgot. I'm
University.
sorry.
Shout out to the 100 Club of New Mexico.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow with a big show tomorrow, Thursday, doing the show from the Capitol. And we'll be back tomorrow. Have a good afternoon, good evening. Get outdoors. Walk the doggy. Play some pickleball. Do something. Enjoy beautiful northern New Mexico. We are blessed. See you tomorrow.